Here I come. Um, it's I still have these computer issues right now, but I've managed to get them working for at least a couple minutes here, so should be okay for a little while. And thought I'd check in. Nail biter. I know that we're better than that. I know it shouldn't have come to that, but not every game is going to be perfect. It's like logically speaking said not too long ago. Sometimes games are going to be close, and sometimes you're not going to play to your full potential, but if you can get the win, you get the win. And if you can walk out with the W, I'm satisfied. And if you can't, it's just a little empty no matter how you did. So I'm happy. 5-point win, came down to about like 20 seconds left. All that good stuff. Couldn't really relax until right at the end. Thought Matt played okay, especially given he has rib injuries right now, and he got beat up. I mean, they were blitzing like crazy. Will Witherspoon, he had a huge game, especially early on, just coming at us from all angles, and he got sacked 5 times and got hit probably on a dozen different occasions, and it was frustrating. I know our offensive line has more talent than what they showed. Our blocking as a whole needs to hold up better than that. And it was embarrassing because this Rams team is not that good. They're better than they were earlier this season, but they're not that good still. And I know our offensive line is better than that. They've been almost all this season quite good, and what else can I say? But I think things can get better eventually, hopefully in time for the playoffs. Morris had that one long run, 46 yards, and other than that, it was just 2 yards of carry all game. So, I credit him. The long run helped us. That was an important part of the win. But otherwise, I still wish Sean was back there. I don't care what anyone says. I'll be very happy to get Sean back. He's just better than Morris. People can question that, but Morris is a backup. That's just how it is. And Weaver only touched the ball once all game, but he got his first NFL touchdown, and we like him up here. He's a fan favorite, so nice to see him get into the action. Branch caught a touchdown. That first round pick we spent on him starting to pay itself back. These last couple of weeks, last year in St. Louis and this year in St. Louis now, we needed good games from Branch in both those games to win, so I appreciate it. Engram continues to have a year that, I don't want to say but might get him into the Pro Bowl as an alternate. If you look up his stats, he doesn't have a lot of touchdowns, so that'll keep him out, but he has a ton of receptions. I don't know how that happened, because he's having a good season, but by watching the games you wouldn't guess that. And quite a few yards, so we'll see where he goes. Keep waiting for him to drop off because he's old, but yeah. Hackett is hurt again. Frustrating, because he's a tremendous talent who can't stay healthy. Holmgren says at least 2 weeks, and he makes it sound like it's going to be more, so one hand, it kind of sucks that we're not going to have him for a stretch run, but hope remains that he's going to be back in time for the playoffs, so that's when we need him. Assuming we can take care of business here, it's about 5 weeks until the playoffs. You got to assume he'll be back by then, but can't stay healthy, the passing game in general had a hard time getting started. A lot of balls were almost picked off, to be honest. There were some drops, some miscommunications. Burleson only had the one catch, and he had a couple of special teams miscues, but, I like Nate. He's a local person. He's from around here, but, he's got to improve on that. That's about it for offense. I've probably gone on a little too long about that. Defensively, you got to love the effort that, Lofa Tatupu, he got hurt and still had 9 tackles. Kearney had 3 sacks, a pick, and a forced fumble, and he's a half a sack behind Campman for the league lead. So he's earning that contract, definitely. Definitely happy with how he's coming along. Leroy Hill has stepped up his game in the last 2 weeks. He's gotten, I think, 2 sacks over the last 2 weeks. Forced a fumble. He's come up with like 17 tackles. Just been a complete beast out there. And Peterson's been somewhat quiet, so we do need that. We need that. I'm proud of the defense. Our offense sputtered. We had a hard time doing anything on offense for the entire first half. And our defense, they gave up 17 points. They gave up a couple of big plays. They had one big unfortunate penalty. But, I'm proud of them stepping up when they needed to. At the goal line, twice, they stuffed them over and over and held them to, field goals and stuff. So, I'll take that. I really am happy with this defense. I think it's one of the best in the league. Trufant came up with a clutch interception when we needed it, when we were down and needed something. When Gus Farrat fumbled that 4th down right at the end, Darryl Tapp went in and finished the job. Gotta say I'm satisfied. I was happy with the coverage Kelly Jennings was putting on Torrey Holt. He didn't make a pick, and sometimes Holt made great catches, but I think in terms of coverage, I think he played really well. So, we gave up a couple of big plays, like the big run to Steven Jackson, but I'm happy with it. And, special team-wise, our coverage was pretty average. Josh Brown missed 2 field goals, either one of which probably would have made me feel a lot better by the end of the game, so that's not so good. And, he's one of the premier kickers in this league. He's got to be better than that. But Nate Burleson had that one fumble that really hurt. But Josh Wilson, he's a rookie. He doesn't get playing time on defense. So he steps in and makes a big play on special teams. It was almost a disaster. He took the ball away from his home player, but, at the end of the day, without that play, we don't win that game. Our offense did nothing in the entire first half. He was the reason we stayed in it with that big kick return where he evaded people, he outran them. And, with Burleson and Wilson, our special teams are looking really good for quite a while. If one of them gets hurt, another can step in. We can put both of them back there. So, yeah, good win, toughed it out, overcame some stuff, and 5 games left. Philly coming up. I'll get to that when the time is right.